Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Creative Artist Podcast. My name's Andrew. I'm here with Mike. And we've got...
That's right. That's right. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Yeah.
And we've got a great, exciting show for you today because we've got a couple of talented, soulful Brazilian Bossa Nova artists. And that's how we're going to say it. We're going to call it Bossa. Say
Bossa.
it. Say it again.
I feel like I'm from Boston. Bossa.
Bossa Nova.
Nova.
We got Ella and the Bossa Beats, her father here, Magrus, with us. They just released an album called Paradise, which is more than just a collaboration of songs. It's really a musical conversation between father and daughter. And we had the privilege to watch you guys play this album for the first time at the Dr. Phillips Center. And
Judson's Live, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was absolutely amazing. We had to reach out to you guys to get you guys on the podcast because you guys are so dynamic up there. Between Marcus's drumming, which reminds me of I feel like I'm back in a bottle shop in Rio de Janeiro when he plays. And when you're up on that stage, you bring such a nuanced and elegant essence to what it means to be a Bossa Nova artist and all of that in between. So thank you so much. Welcome to the podcast, Ella and Magrus.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
So right off the top of the bat, that's where I'm at. Did you when you guys were playing that show, we were in the audience. Were we distracting? Could you guys hear us? We were giving it up for you guys like crazy.
I saw someone in the back like, hey, wavy.
I might have been me.
That's
It
probably,
was probably you, yeah.
That's our group. There's like eight or so of us drummers in the back. And every time you'd play any kind of drum fill over the bar line or anything, we just started yelling. So if you heard a lot of screaming, that was us.
Oh my gosh.
For sure.
Well, thank you.
I almost took off my shoe because in the Musicians Union, when someone takes a really good solo,
It's a great compliment.
yeah,
to
when
throw
someone
a
takes
shoe.
amazing drum solo, the most respectful thing you can do is take off your shoe and throw it.
Yes.
And I almost did that to you a couple of times, but I was wearing boots, and I thought that would have been bad.
Would have been, yeah.
It's
Hit
a
harder.
singer thing too. You're supposed to do that with singers, and
I almost did it
it
to
probably
you.
would have been a little
Why?
distracting.
That would have been crazy.
I know. She's just in a red dress. She's dodging,
Yeah, dodging it.
But yeah, I wanted to ask you guys. So the album Paradise, you guys just released that album. What does that album mean to you guys musically and professionally?
That's a great question. And I think Paradise really this year for us has been just a year of a lot of like self-discovery, a lot of like internal things that we were experiencing, and for me especially the growth as a musician, as a person. And I think Paradise, in my opinion, I'll give my version and then Magrus can give his. But I think Paradise was just kind of a place that is not really outside, but it's inside. So it's a place that I wanted people to understand that there's so much beauty like within ourselves. And I was trying to make it a very spiritual thing too. Like there's so much beauty in love and art and everything within us. And Paradise is kind of that. It's going to that place, quote unquote, to discover who you really are, what you feel, and what you want to express. And I think that's kind of the message of the whole album. There's many different things on like each song. It says one thing, but to encompass the whole album, like it's about really discovering your true voice and finding beauty within yourself and just trying to express that with people and share that with people. So it's really a journey about growth, healing. There's so many different themes like within Paradise, but to kind of, summarize a little bit, I think that's for me what it meant to make.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Well, I just think that paradise for me is just to be able to be doing music with you, with Ella, and that's what it is for me. Paradise is, you know, is to be able to exchange music, composing, writing, and playing and performing, and that's a paradise, you know,
Mhm.
That's
with
so
together.
it's so special that you two, I mean, father and daughter, that musical
Yeah.
conversation, and that's literally what you're witnessing when you watch them
Mm.
live,
Hmm.
Mhm.
right?
I was curious what the I know we're talking about the album still, but like when you're putting it together, what is the writing process like? Because it's father and daughter, like how and who goes first? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
that's
that's
a
a
great
good question,
question.
bro. Oh my god. Can I guess who
That's
goes first?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Magrus is like, I'll answer it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's depends because sometimes I know Ella, she's full of melodies, harmonies.
Mhm,
She always playing piano, and she gets all these great ideas, great, you know, music going on.
mhm,
And about me, it's like I always come with nice grooves, and then we start playing together. Then I come up with a groove, and she start like playing something, and then we start singing together, and then we then that's just the beginning, because then that's when you start to get inspired, and then we start writing a song, and then there's no we don't know what's gonna happen. No, it's like the music
mhm.
it start to growing, and we play, then we do this, do that, and like in half an hour we have a scratch of a song, and then we just record it. We recorded the idea, and the next day we go, and we start working on, and change it here, change it there, and then the song start to build, and then we make a song, you know,
Mhm,
and
Mm.
mhm.
It
I
sounds
mean.
a lot like an openness and a curiosity, and then a design by discovery.
Yeah.
Like as you're going through, you'll learn new things that like you couldn't have planned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really what I think I love about us is the fact that we're very improvisational.
Mm.
So we're just very like whatever happens happens, and for me particular, like I'm very in the moment person, or at least I try to be more. Like these past years I've been really trying to embrace every moment as it comes. um and I love jazz because of that. It's a very in the moment thing. It's very improvisational, very freeing. So I love the fact that we can just do what we want to do at any time. Like
Mhm,
there's no rules, and I love I love that because it's like there's the foundation of things, progression wise, and theory wise. You can think about that as musicians, but then there's the artist part of it is like, do what you want to do. What are you trying to say here? What are you trying to put out? Like, just be free, you
when does
know?
that come? So, like, if you're writing a song, it sounds like the beginning of it is really messy. It's just like we're just trying to find something to grab
Yeah.
onto, and then you find it. Like, let's say it's a backbeat that Marcos
Uh-huh.
throws in there, and then you lay down this melody, and it's got something to it, right? When
Mhm.
do you find out what is the song about, or when do you decide like I want to write about like seasons, like
Yeah.
that song, right? Like when do you decide, oh, this is going into seasons, which is very heavy and very deep
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah.
I think before you say anything,
Marcus is like,
He's
disclaimer,
like,
no,
I'd
wait a
like to go
I
second.
ahead and
think, after you go through so many processes,
mhm,
like you go through the rhythm and the harmony and the melody, blah blah blah, blah. But I think the final decision is gonna be when Ella comes with the lyrics,
yeah.
and she comes with the idea of, oh no, I'm gonna talk about this concept, and about this, what it is about this song, and that's when we finalize the whole song,
Mhm,
because that's the end of the song,
mhm,
Mm.
when she comes with the lyrics. Is that right? Or
Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah. But like, how do you get to
Exactly.
that point? So he's right where it's like, well, finally we're on the home stretch. It's like when
Yeah.
you come with the concept, but where does
Yeah.
that come in the process? Like, how do you decide,
I mean,
you
it
know?
just it depends on the song, I feel. Like there are some songs that the vibe at the moment is very like let's do something more upbeat and
Mm-hmm.
groovy and uplift, like, just fun and happy. So then eventually those lyrics will be on top of that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the vibe changes, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like I'm trying to say something different and or I'm feeling a kind of way. And for Seasons, as you mentioned, like that was a totally different thing. And actually, and the funny thing about this is that months ago when we started writing this album, like it was January, that we were super inspired. We had just come back from Blue Note Rio and Sao Paulo in Brazil.
Oh my gosh.
And we were totally inspired because we stayed at our friend's house
Mm-hmm.
in front of like in this forest, like just beautiful nature all the time. And you could sunbathe all day and like, just be next to nature. And we were really inspired because we were rehearsing for our show at Blue Notes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when we came back to Orlando, we're like, we need to write music. And so everything that we started writing had a different meaning at that time. And with months later, like even after the album was released, when we performed these songs, they had a different meaning. And it's because different things happened within those months that changed the whole meaning of everything.
Oh yeah.
So when I sang Seasons originally, I was thinking about one thing, like, more in a romantic way, dedicated to somebody. And months later, after so many things happened, I was not with this person anymore. I sang the song in a different way. It wasn't about that. It was about being appreciative of the time spent. And even the lyrics, like little things were like,
You have a line in there that says, "As long as we remember that there was
exactly.
love, that there was love." Is that what it
Yes, yeah, I
is?
was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
That there was love.
there was
But at
love.
that time when I was writing those lyrics, why didn't I say that there is love?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't say that there is love. And now when I sing it, it makes total sense. And it's almost like the lyrics were supposed to, it was for my version in the future instead of
Mm.
that version before. It was like meant to happen for the future.
There's this
Yeah,
element.
but there is one thing that we have to talk about it, because sometimes when you decide to record a record, and you just go, okay, let's go in the studio and let's write 10 songs let's make a record. And that's exactly what you're saying, is when you go in the studio and if you're not inspired, if you don't have a message, if you're not like, okay, what is this? What we are writing about? What is this going to be about? It. I mean, we can just write a lot of songs. We can just go there and start playing, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's write. We can write many songs, but if you don't have a message,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you just go there, and that's what happened to us before I go to Brazil, because we went in the studio and we were writing like some dance songs, and remember we
Yeah,
were
just a
like
bunch
a
of
bunch of
different
different
things,
styles,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're like,
yeah, yeah.
well, but that's not
It's not
what we want to
focused.
do it,
Yeah.
like. And then we went to Brazil, and we came back. We had a different concept. We had a different mind. So we went in the studio, and then we just wrote like 10 songs, maybe in 5 days. I mean, Ella
Wow.
was going, she was going crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
pam, pam, pam,
Calm
pam,
down.
pam.
Stop drinking so much coffee.
Yeah,
She's
it's the
drinking, by the
coffee.
way,
It's the
Okay,
coffee.
let's
it's
do
worth
this
saying.
one. Record it. Record. Like that. And there was like so many
Stop composing.
crazy. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's great,
Yeah.
like when you have so many, I mean, you are hungry for, to do new things, and there are lots of message. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to say something,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah, no, it's all about what you want to give, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly about that.
I want to circle back to the live shows and where you're talking about how there's no rules
Mm-hmm.
and improvisation is a big thing with you. Do you ever get because that you're talking about wanting to have a message and for music, like that is a message and on its own. When you're doing the improv stuff, do you ever get caught up in that? And like, I guess I don't know if the zone is the right word, but like, have you ever been in an improv situation and then you just not get lost in a negative way, but you're just lost in the moment and like it doesn't stop? Like how long can you go in that
flow state? Maybe,
Yeah.
is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Like have you ever been caught in a situation where the flow state doesn't stop and you're like, you got to, oh yeah, right, I forgot we're here, and like you get back into the song?
I think it's when I get into that zone, it's more about that zone with the whole audience.
Mm.
It's not just about me, like my little zone, my bubble. I feel it's me with the musicians and everybody watching us. And I think that's so important because I feel like, and I've learned about this recently, that there's like two types of performers. There's the givers and the receivers.
Which one do you think Mike is? Take away. He
No.
takes away. He's the third person. He takes away from people. He takes away from other performers.
I take away from you.
Yeah.
From you, yeah.
Okay, but givers and receivers. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I feel like, there's types of performers that are just trying to get all of that, like, oh, I need to receive so much, like, look at me kind of thing. And me and Magrus are really like, we want to give as much as we can. It's almost overwhelming in a way because it takes all of our energy. And what we're trying to give really is anything that is good. We're just trying to love, kindness, goodness, like just trying to give things to people through our music and through like talking to the audience, to the fans and everything that will make them feel good. I want them to feel happy, to feel inspired, and to leave our shows like, wow, I feel so good. And we've had so many experiences like that.
Yeah.
Where like I can, tell stories where it's like this couple came up and they had lost their dog. They were going through so many like sad things during that week. And the husband brought his wife to see our show, and she was torn apart. Like she was very depressed and everything. And
did you play Seasons? Is that why?
no,
she plays Seasons, right? Guys. I'm telling you, listen
Seasons,
to it.
Get the tissues, yeah. But it's amazing because like after the show, the husband introduced me to his wife, and he's like, Ella, I need you to meet my wife and everything. Like she was going through a really hard situation, even with her own family and stuff. But she says that she wants to talk to you now. And I'm like, what is she trying to say? I hope she, felt something good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible. She looked me in the eye and she's like, Ella, I feel so much better. Like I feel like you just kind of healed something inside me. And I was feeling terrible before I got to your show. And after I saw you guys play, it changed how I saw things and almost my outlook about how to proceed, because you guys really inspired me. And hearing those words, I think that day really touched me. And I was like, wow, like, I want to do this more. I want to find ways to help people as much as I can, as much as we can, like, because it's about that. And we discovered that we're givers as performers. We're not receiver. Like we want to give as much as we can to make people feel their best version. And that's really what it's about.
If that's your mission, you're succeeding because you both and the musicians that you play with are making beautiful things and you're putting it out there in the world for people. So if that's the mission, succeeded.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Accomplished is what you say.
Yeah, accomplished. Mission sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mission
Accomplished. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Now guess what kind of performer Andrew is.
Oh, come on. receiver. What? That's not even an option. So yes, the importance of art. I mean, when humans don't really know how to come to grips with suffering in life,
Yeah.
that's where we go to art. And you guys were at the perfect time for that woman. And you know, and also doesn't Bossa Nova in a way lend itself to that intimacy where it can kind of touch people vulnerability wise, vulnerably? Is that the right way to say that?
Close enough.
We
But there's like an
understand.
intimacy to Bossa Nova. It's a
You understand.
romanticism,
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
there's also the seductive aspect of it too. It's suave, it's that. But I feel like when people can relax and they listen to Bossa Nova, they go to a live concert of it, it's so easy for these people to just be allured and moved, especially by you two. I just think Bossa Nova, the genre, lends itself
Yeah,
to
you're
touching
totally
people a little bit more. Like Slipknot, you're not going to hear that and feel that,
right.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, it's true. You're
Yeah,
totally right. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry. No, the thing is, like, it's great because we are not typical bossa nova musicians, like an artist. Like, we're not like we get the bossa nova style, and we kind of mix with our own style.
Mhm.
And but bossa nova is a good thing because bossa nova gets the kind of sensual vibe and
Mhm.
make people to relax. And so we get that style and mix it up with our own
Yeah.
original music, which is a bunch of little things, like
Mhm.
bossa nova,
Mhm.
a little jazz, a
Mhm.
little
Samba também.
Afro,
Yeah.
samba, funk.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of little styles that we
Mhm.
combine together,
Yeah.
and that's what we are about. It's good because we can kind of come by all this combination and develop our own style of music.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what I think. People are there looking for new things. They
Right.
want to,
Yeah.
because if you listen to Antônio Carlos Jobim or João Gilberto, all those very traditional bossa
Yeah.
nova musicians from Brazil, they are great, but they had their own time
Mhm.
in music,
Mhm.
like 1960s,
Yeah.
1957. There was their times, bossa nova was like really happening,
Yeah.
and now we are living in 2024.
Yeah.
So we got that kind of
Mhm.
ingredient, and then mix it up with what's going on now, in music,
Yeah.
because has been going through a lot of different
Changes.
phases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you
Especially,
said that. I love that you talked about that. Yeah. Because it's ever changing. We've talked about this like time's relationship to art. Like we this is a bad example, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's right behind you. The second Joker movie that came out, right?
Oh yeah.
It came out and people hated it. It was like one of the worst reviewed movies ever. But we went and saw it and we loved it. And we think that over time, people are going to look back at that movie and be like, that was amazing. And like, so that's kind of a similar example, but as time stretches with Bossa Nova, you have the figureheads, Jobim, he's like the godfather. He gave us Garota de Ipanema, Girl from Ipanema. You've heard that one, right?
Yes, I've heard that.
Thank
song.
God. And then Jean Joubert. So you have
Yeah.
all these guys, and those the guys started in the late 50s. And then over
Mhm.
time, it's just kind of evolved into this. Now its base is Bossa Nova, but it's got this contemporary spin to it. Like your voice, for instance, um, it's not like nasally like the other like traditional bossa nova. It's very much your own voice that you bring to it. It's just interesting how time has a function with art. We forget about that
Yeah, you're
sometimes.
totally right. Even more so when you're like, going back to what you said before, I think we've luckily found the genre of music that fits us perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, I tried singing pop music mainstream, like when I was growing up. I thought that was a style that I wanted to get into. And I can write those kind of music, like those kind of songs, but it just doesn't feel like me.
Mm.
It doesn't feel like, I don't know, it doesn't go with me, like my personality or, somehow I found myself like I'm perfectly fit inside like the jazz genre, the bossa nova. And I try to mix that with the soulfulness and all of that other stuff. So, I mean, we love so many genres, and that's a hard thing too. Like as an artist to find what you really want to do, like when you really love all sorts of genres,
Mm-hmm.
how can you pin it down to one and say, I want to write this? Like you truly need to ask yourself, who am I? Like what kind of music do I want to put out and what fits best with me? Because it's really about that. Otherwise you'll be making music that is not you. You won't be happy long term. You might succeed and, play shows and do things for a big audience, but then eventually it kind of wears out.
If it's surface level, it fades away.
Exactly. If you're truly passionate about what you are doing, the long term is like, wow, you found your thing,
But the good thing about it, it's what you just said is we can kind of we are mixing all the style that we like and we love it, like with bossa nova you can put a little bit of soul and jazz and funk and a little bit of rock and dance music. I think we got the whole ingredient all
Mm-hmm.
together. That's what I feel. I feel like sometimes I'm playing bossa nova, but I feel like I'm playing rock.
Sprinkle in just a touch of Slipknot in there.
Yeah. Double bass for a quick second. It's like, damn, Magrus, go for it. Go for
go
it.
for it, right?
Go for it,
That's
pal.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be happy with and be able to mix all the music you feel like, wow, I'm happy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you don't want to just get hang on
Yeah.
something that is not you or,
Sure.
you know.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
You'd mentioned time before. I'm curious. Let's go way back.
Okay.
Do you remember the moment that you fell in love with the piano? Or at least do you remember the moment that was like the catalyst of where you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to devote my time to this.
It's people won't believe this. They won't believe when I say this. But actually not too long ago.
I don't believe it.
No.
I don't
Yeah.
No
believe it.
way.
I don't
Yeah.
believe it. Get me out of here.
No.
Let's cut the podcast.
No, we're
down.
gonna. I'm stop you.
She's
She's
because
lying to us already.
We sat down and you guys
No,
you started
I'm
to
out.
play, and it was like, holy crap, she's got chops.
Just a week ago, guys.
That's insane.
Before, just one day before Judson's live.
Wow.
Perfect.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you're joking.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But it was in the last couple years, I can say. And I think really I owe that to the fact that it was the maturity, like of life, like my growth as a person helped me realize what I had. Because when I like was growing up and back in Brazil, Magrus, had the home studio, and I was always exposed to music all the time.
And I play guitar.
Yeah, I started playing guitar and writing my own songs, like singing and writing lyrics. Like that was from the very beginning for me, like 6, 7 years old. And so for me, it was always something that was there.
Mhm.
So
He left.
Yeah.
he left.
He just didn't want to hear the story.
Yeah, he's like,
I've heard this story.
I've heard
He's
this-
like, I heard this before.
I've
I
heard
actually
this.
lived it.
I've lived this with her. I don't need to know this. But so I think it's almost like kind of take it for granted. I know it's terrible to say this, but like I'm being very honest. Because I was always exposed to music and great musicians and all this stuff at such an early age, in the studio at the tip of my hands, like I could go anytime to record. And I was recording my album like when I was 12. Like I do have an album.
That's insane.
I do. And
Let's
I
look it
speak
up.
out of like out of humility. I don't want to say it in a cocky way. But what I'm trying to say is that it took me a long time for me to really appreciate what I had and truly, truly appreciate deeply. And a few years ago, I fell in love with the piano and I fell in love with singing jazz because that's when I was realizing that that was for me. That was who I was meant to be, like a jazz singer, a jazz performer, you know? And I fell in love with music deeply. And before I wasn't in love, it was just, I loved doing it, but I wasn't in love with it, you know? And when I fell in love, everything changed. I was like, I can't live without this. Like, it's like, you know, it's like when you're in love with somebody, I can't live without this. Like, I need this, you know, to breathe. Like, I think and it's crazy. And that's why I said, I started out like saying that. You won't believe it.
Yeah.
Because it was not too long ago. And I think it was just because I needed to mature as a person to really appreciate what I had, appreciate the art itself, and give the value that it really deserved in my life.
I mean, that's beautiful to hear. I feel the same way about my craft of acting, but my problem, maybe you can help me with this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Is sometimes I go back on on the idea of my love. I think like I love it, but really I should look at doing something else and keep it my passion on the side. Like I shouldn't try to go for this I shouldn't go all in on this, kind of like what happened with drumming with me. I'm very protective of the craft, you know, but do you ever have that issue where you're like, oh man, maybe I should do this more of like as a side gig thing and find something else that I'm really good at? Or has that never been a question in your mind where you're like, I'm just all in on this?
For music,
Yeah.
for a point in my life when I was in high school, I was doing a lot of shows and, you know, gigs every week with my dad. And I didn't really have a social life. Like I didn't have like the whole going out with friends all the time and, you know, being young.
Yeah.
You kind of want to explore that. And I wasn't getting that. And I started getting frustrated. I was like, I want to get involved because I love soccer, you know, as a Brazilian.
No.
You know, not
Shocker.
all Brazilians really love it, but I loved it. I really loved playing it. And I thought I was good at it. So in high school, I wanted to join the soccer team. And I was like, if I want to do something, I want to do it. Like, you know, I want to try. I like trying things. So I'm very open to that. And I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I don't think I want to play music for a while right now. Like, I want to do something else for a while. I want to try something else. Like, get into the soccer club, you know, get more involved with the, you know, the little clubs in high school, the little social things,
Yeah.
hang out more with friends. And I swear, like, it was only a couple days, maybe a week. And I was like, wait a second. No. I love music.
So you go back.
I
you're like,
went
I'm
back
out.
because I started feeling that absence, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you're so cold and there's the sunlight and you're like, but wait a second, let me step out for a moment. But then you realize that sunlight is so warm and it feels so good on the skin. So when you go back to it, you're like, wow, that's
Yeah.
how I felt.
Yeah.
So
I know this too. This sounds a lot like how I think about acting, where I'll be an actor for the rest of my life, up until the day I can't remember my lines. I've been on stage with people in their 80s, and it's really sad because that's when an actor has to hang it up because it's like I just can't remember my monologue anymore, right?
Yeah.
I
So,
know
like-
I will be that person. What's that? You're gonna say
So like
What are
the
you
intro
What?
today.
No,
Today's
I
the
didn't have
day.
that. I didn't have a monologue memorized for the intro today. What are you talking about? A soliloquy? What? No, I know that'll be there, but sometimes I don't know. I think it's just the way I grew up. It's like parents just thinking like maybe arts isn't the way to go. Maybe you
Mm,
should go to college to get, that kind of a thing. I know a
yeah.
lot of people who listen to this podcast feel that way too, where
Mm,
they're stuck between two worlds. Where do I give all in on this art thing that I really, really love and do enjoy, and it gives me life and passion and meaning?
yeah.
But it's also I'm really good at sales. I'm really good at, whatever my day job is. And it's not doesn't soul suck, but it's also, so it's kind of in between two worlds. And it's
You gotta
gotta
have balance.
yeah,
I think, and I always preach about this. I'm
balance.
very into balance in life.
Hmm.
And in it, like if you're good at something else that you also want to try, I mean, you can do it if you want.
Yeah.
We can do anything we want. Like,
You're a drummer.
No, I'm not,
You have a
Magrus.
balance.
I'm retired, pal. He's gonna get me out of
he's
retirement.
retired.
He's gonna get me out of retirement. I'm gonna start playing in gigs again.
Yeah.
Start
You're
playing.
still playing gigs now.
I'm retired though. I'm
Oh,
out.
he's playing gigs now.
Yes.
No, but I'm
literally
not. I'm not looking for gigs.
He
I'm
gets
not.
paid to play drums every day.
Magrus, it's not the
Yes.
same. No, it's not the
so
same.
he's a professional drummer.
No.
Yeah.
Para
Oh,
com isso.
man.
Para. Stop
Come
it.
on, let me
I'm
know
not.
where is the next gig. I want to come and watch you.
No,
Maybe
Magrus
I
is
can
not
learn
watching me.
something.
Don't have Magrus go.
If you're listening to this right now, listener, Magrus is the most ridiculous drum solo
Oh,
where all
come
of us, did you
on.
see us all standing up, by the way, when you were doing that? Did you see us? No, he had sunglasses on the whole time. He wasn't watching us.
I don't see that much for you know.
Oh, okay. Dude, we were going crazy. I remember looking over at my buddy Jesse. I've been playing drums with Jesse for like a decade, and Jesse's mouth was like this the whole time. Absolutely loved it. He's insane. So there's no way I'm playing in front of you.
That's
No way.
nice. That's nice.
I gotta ask this question because if I don't, I'll never live with myself, or I'll scream once you guys leave. So that room that you guys played at the Dr. Phillips Center, it was a very elegant room. It felt like something out of a James Bond movie, if I could be honest with you.
Yeah.
It felt very swanky. Everyone was jingling their jewelry. Had a couple rich Brazilians to my left. I said something in Portuguese. I said I cursed in Portuguese, and the Brazilian woman whipped around. I could tell. But so that's kind of like I don't know. I don't know how you felt about it, but I remember kind of sitting there, and as a person who's been on stage, kind of a little bit of a pressure room. It's like a really nice, elegant things. It's formal, right? Now, as somebody who's the front of the band, can you talk a little bit about like what's it like to get on a microphone and talk to these people? I mean, nerves maybe at bay or whatever you say, but is there a character that you kind of what are you tapping into? I mean, you looked authentic, everything you said I believed,
That's
but
good.
but like what is that like?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
That's a really great
that's
question.
a very good question.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm sorry.
Before
I don't want to interrupt you.
interrupt
answer,
me again, Dan.
But no, before you,
We got a family question
No,
coming
We got
up
a
next,
family
yeah.
question after
she's gonna
that.
answer the question because she knows the answer for this question. But I just want to say one thing. First of all, it's very nice to go to a place when you walk on the stage. You want to see everybody quiet. You don't want to see any noise. I don't want to hear any noise,
Mm.
because it's who I don't. I get very upset if I go to play in a place and the people like, like that kind of thing. So the good thing about the place is that when we walked in on that place on the stage, people they were really like got very quiet.
Mhm.
And then Ella had the message
Yeah.
Mhm.
to them.
Yeah, no, and I think really I don't get nervous anymore when I perform. I mean, depends on the place, but I feel like I'm just trying to be myself now. I'm just trying to go there and deliver because I know I practice like the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I know I memorize the arrangements. I know who takes the solo when. I know, when am I supposed to develop like the outline of, what I want to do. I know what I'm there to do. So I need to be confident enough to go there and do it. So that aside, the craft itself, the skill itself, comes the whole personality, right? And like growing up, when we played shows, I was very nervous about communicating with the people. I was like, what do I say? Honestly, I would write down a whole script of things. Like I brought a notebook
Mm-hmm.
and I set it on the piano and I had a bunch of things like introduce the band, talk
fair.
about the lyrics of this song. And I
Yeah.
had everything written down, but I mean, I was, very young. So that's what was going on in my mind at that time. Nowadays, I feel it's really just about being your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, be yourself, whoever you are. Like, just show that because that's what the music is about. Is showing you. It's very vulnerable. It's showing who you are because it's our music, right? It's most of the songs that we played are original, and the lyrics I wrote, and when we made the songs together. So I mean, it's us. It's our
Mhm.
story. So we should just go there and try to be as authentic and sincere. And I always try to be grateful and kind to people and just, grateful for the musicians that I'm playing with that are amazing. And the fact that I have the opportunity to be there at that beautiful place for those beautiful people playing beautiful music, right? I mean, what else
Mhm.
can I ask for? I mean, it's really wonderful. So
It was a phenomenal
gotta be
night.
happy.
yeah, just gotta
Yeah.
be happy
It
and
was a phenomenal night. It was so great.
thank
I just
you.
wish we could have recorded it so you guys could have felt it with us.
Yeah.
Speaking of your band, though, I think I got to give a quick shout out to the Albert Einstein on saxophone.
Saxophone.
Oh, Dan Jordan.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Ridiculous. And then he picked up the
Ridiculous.
flute too and went off on that too.
I
Remember
know.
that? You hit me. He
He's
hit me
good at
that point. He went.
everything.
Yeah.
There was almost a shoe in the saxophone.
There was almost a shoe at the
Almost a shoe,
saxophone
yeah.
guy too.
Yeah.
Gosh,
That
the
guy
whole
would
band.
just call him and say, "Hey, let's rehearse tomorrow." Okay, on time. Okay, I'll be there anytime you want. Like the guy is always available, and he always want to play.
No, he always
so-
makes time
Yeah.
for us,
Mm.
and he's so. I mean, out of this world professional. There's, we were talking about this in the car one day, like just admiring him as a person. Like, wow, his sense of ethic and work and everything that he puts into what he does. I mean, it shows. It
Mhm.
shows because he's amazing musician and an amazing person. And it's like you put those two together and you just get this magic.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
so I mean, in the bass player Diogo Brown from Rio de Janeiro. Oh my God! I mean,
Brown.
he's like became a
brown.
family. Yeah, became a family member. All of them, really, all of them on stage. Greg Little on trumpet, fantastic person too, and Jonathan Dills on cello. That is my age, and we met at Stetson University where I went to school. And we saw him playing at the orchestra, and we're like,
We could use you
we could use you for something, huh?
for our band. He's like, what? Bossa Nova?
Yeah, yeah. At
Get in the
first he
car.
did. At first he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is a whole different world, right?"
Yeah.
And my dad really took him as a son, and like he kind of taught him, like, let's get into bossa nova.
We used to hang together, and he came to me and said, "Man, can you teach me some of those rhythms from Brazil? I know I have a hard time to play those like those syncopated
Syncopation.
rhythms. Like Brazilian music has very syncopated. So like
Mhm.
gotta go like so for him, the guy
Mhm.
was a class. He used to play
Classically
music.
trained. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I can tell you, man, this guy, he really he learned very fast.
Really?
Yes. And now he's doing all those syncopation I
He
mean,
feels Brazilian music.
yes,
He
he
feels
loves
it now.
Brazilian music. So
Yeah.
it's good to have, I mean, to know that he got the whole vibe, and
Mm-hmm.
now he really can play Brazilian music, you know.
Gosh.
And he's only 24,
25. Yeah.
25, yeah.
Yeah. Good for
So
him.
good
He got
news, you
lucky
know.
with you guys. I mean, jeez. You know.
Yeah.
All right, I got to ask a deep question.
Okay.
So for me, like all art, like every medium of art, it has the opportunity to be really powerful or really moving. But music specifically, like is a medium of art that moves people, like it moves their soul and it moves it immediately. Like the moment you hear something that really strikes a chord with you, like you're moved. An
Mhm.
example of that was happened with me today. I was listening to a Norwegian artist, and
I know about it.
you
A
do.
little bird told me.
Oh, did you tell her before? Oh my
I
gosh.
told her after she was getting her second cup of coffee.
Sorry, guys.
Okay,
Well, you
so-
know,
Second
that's
cup
how I
of
can
coffee.
speak here.
So I'm listening to this artist, Aurora, and it
Oh,
like
I've heard of her.
it took me back. Like it just moved my soul, and it took me back to a moment where I was with my wife in Norway, like walking through the woods. Like we literally pulled off to the side of the road, found a wooded area, and we just started walking. And we were like hiking through this like mountainous wooden forest, and we
Really?
found a waterfall, and it was the most amazing moment. And I'm like, I hear this music today, and it took me back there. And I like just got really emotional about it. And
Yeah.
I say all that to say, is there a piece of music or a song outside of your own work that like really moves you? Like what is that for you?
My gosh. I mean, do you want to answer first, or I know Dad's like, let me say this before she says it. You know?
Okay, you answer first again.
So, well, I mean, the other day I was doing something, and then all of a sudden the playlist on, Spotify, the shuffle went on to Debussy, one of my favorite pianists of all time. A song of his, Réverie, was playing, and that's a piece of music that really hits home somehow. I don't know how. I can't explain it,
Mm.
but for some reason, classical music for me does something just like jazz does. When I hear Etta James or Etta Jones, and there's two, James and Jones, and
Hancock.
well, yeah, Herbie, but like singers though, that I've been hearing recently, and it's just it's like these simple lines that really takes me somewhere. I don't know where it is. It feels like a heaven.
Mm.
Feels like a paradise.
Ah, there it is, folks.
Listen to our album, guys.
There it is. She plugged it in. She found a way.
You know,
she did it.
Gotta find ways to
There
plug
it
it
is.
in. I just did that.
Paradise. No, but yeah, I hear you.
And Debussy is one of those artists that just takes me somewhere, and it makes me feel a certain way, makes me feel emotional, makes me stop in time. And no matter what I'm doing, I could be, cooking or running or anything normal, right? But listening to that piece of music feels magical. Like I could be, buying groceries, and then if that song comes up, I'm like, whoa, that's a magical place. Like it's so spiritual. Music is so spiritual.
Mm.
And when I said before that I fell in love with music recently, in recent years, that's what I mean. That it touches me in a way that I just can't describe. And to hear like you saying that you felt so emotional, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. It's so beautiful to hear that shared experience, like with you and your wife, like, and it took you back to this beautiful memory that you shared together. And that is the power of music. Like it takes you places.
Mhm.
It takes you, it's memory. It's nostalgia. It's beauty. It's I don't know what it is, you know? It's just something magical.
Chicoria.
Chicory, he's trying to get into the piano players. I'll let you talk, Dan.
No, no, I was just saying that. I mean, there are so many songs and music that makes you go to different places and make you feel happy. You know, that's what it is about music, and that's why I get up in the morning and then I gotta listen to a great song, you know, to keep me up for the whole day, you know.
Mhm.
I listen to a great song and then okay, great. I wanna go in the studio and I wanna play and I
Mhm.
wanna write song, you know,
Mhm.
but that's what it is. I think we need the inspiration.
Yes.
And music is it's a great inspiration for the day and for life, you know.
And it's so important to be surrounded by people, like your circle of people that kind of share that passion for music, I think. Cause
Mm.
let your example. If you're driving and you hear that song and the person who was next to you was listening but didn't feel the same way or didn't understand how you felt,
Mm.
what does that do to you? You know, it changes your experience and the beauty is diminished.
The language.
Yeah. And for me, like I try to be surrounded with people that understand how passionate I am about music and how it really touches me in like my soul. Because when that happens and that person can share that experience, wow, there's something there.
Mhm.
That this transcends, right? It's not this earth anymore. It's some heaven, it's some magic that's happening. Not between me and the music, but between this bond
Right.
and the music.
Yeah.
But isn't so amazing that you go to different places and there are different kind of culture, music, and different kind of the way people understand music. Like you go
Mhm.
to Brazil, you go to the Amazon, you go to Belém. There is this place in the Amazon where I am from, the Amazon, Belém, and the music is it's a very powerful thing there. But I mean, people they really like this kind of music, which is bragga music, right?
Mhm.
Which is like very like it's a very fast tempo
Mhm.
Yeah, you
kind.
dance with
It's like
people and yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
that's what they like, and
Mhm.
Now the drum solo makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When he started playing
Exactly.
it, we were like, "Yep, there it is. He's from
There
the
it is.
Amazon."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense
It's
now.
beautiful though. Yeah.
But that's great because we go there, you know, and it's another experience, you know, like to go there and see people. They go and they gather it. They get together and they want to hear that kind of music, you know. And we come from America. We come from another place that we mostly play different kind of music and so we have to kind of adapt to and
Mhm.
understand that
Mhm.
kind of music
Mhm.
because it's like going to Africa. It's another type of music. You
Right.
go to Japan, it's another. So you gotta be open. You gotta open your
Yeah.
mind to kind of understand and enjoy.
Yeah, every culture experiences their music differently too. You know,
Yeah.
just how you experience, classical music here in America, or whether you're in
Mhm.
the Amazon and they're dancing, it's more, communal.
Yeah.
That's just so fascinating. I don't think we don't give that a thought enough.
Mhm.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
I do want to ask this question because we're kind of getting here to time. If you had a piece of advice to give to a young girl with a piano who wants to play bossa nova, or a young boy who's got a guitar and loves João Gilberto, what kind of advice would you guys give to that guy or that girl?
Get a good time
Yeah. Play with a metronome. Because if you can't, no one's going to want to play with you.
Coming from a drummer.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I'm joking, but I mean,
Joking, but not though.
but
No.
yes, I mean,
to play with others, I mean, you got to play
you
in
wanna
time.
have a good time. That definitely, you know, if you wanna play any kind of music, but bossa nova, you know, you can tell me what you can say. What
He's just
I mean,
like, so yeah, Ella, you know.
Yeah. Ella, what you got to
You-
tell the people?
I don't wanna
I don't want to interrupt again. You
interrupt
should
you.
do it, you know. I think I always, it's funny because sometimes I get so deep and like instead of saying a practical answer, I'll just really get into like this whole thing, spirituality and whatever. Um I would say just learn as much as you can, dive in. Dive in as much as you can to that world, right? Because there's so much beauty in that world of bossa nova, of jazz. It's so rich, and there's so much to discover, and you should just try to learn as much as you can about it. And if you're trying to be an artist per se, like if you're trying to create your own thing, then give that the space too to develop and give it the time. Don't rush anything, and just time is gonna make you create what you're supposed to create. um don't try to be like everybody else, I guess. That's kind of a cliche thing to say,
Yeah.
but it's true though, and it takes time. And that's why I'm, in a more practical sense, everything will take time, but if it's a good thing, it's going to come to you eventually, and you're going to discover your voice. Just like for me, like it took me so many years to discover what I wanted to do exactly, and luckily it just happened, because it was meant to be like that.
Yeah.
So I would say, advice for them.
talk about drums.
Yeah, no drums, guys.
Yeah, pick up drums, drop the piano.
You just gotta think about like 2/4, because bossa nova has to be 2/4. It's not 4/4. It's like 2/4. It's like do 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 do.
This is a great way to play us out.
Hang on. Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Bing, bing. I don't know how to do a bass line.
Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from
Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. Ella and the Bossa Beats. They have a show coming up sometime soon, I imagine. I'm doing now their press release for them. I don't have the notes in front of me. But they... do you guys have any... Yeah, before we wrap up, go ahead. Your camera right there. Let us know what's coming up, where people can follow you, the music. The album's on Spotify, Paradise. Check it out now. My favorite song is Seasons.
Don't listen to Season.
Don't listen to Seasons, but you can listen to Must Be Love. That's a good one too. He's still going.
He's still going. Take
yeah.
away this bottle from him.
No, I'm just kidding. We're
Get
gonna have to
rid of
bottle
it,
it up right
guys.
now.
Sounding, man, I love it.
Yeah, but do you guys have any shows coming up where people can maybe catch you?
Yeah, so if you're in the Orlando area, please come see us next week. We're doing a show as a quartet at the Heidi's Jazz Club, with Dan Jordan on sax, the one that everyone was,
Yes.
talking about
I
here.
call him Einstein.
Yes,
Albert
exactly.
Einstein.
So
Master.
it's going to be a quartet, me
And
on
the-
piano,
and the-
voice, Magrus on drums,
Magrus.
percussion,
Very big split.
Dan Jordan on sax, acoustic bass, Doug Matthews.
Yeah.
So Cocoa Beach, Heidi's Jazz Club next week, December 22nd, 7 p.m. Be there or be square.
Don't be a square, guys.
And don't be square.
We're waiting for you.
We'll be waiting for you. We're going to play a bunch of original music, some holiday songs, which I love to play as well, and some, Brazilian jazz tunes. And listen to our album. Go stream it. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere else. And yeah, you can find our website. Just go to www.bossanovamusic.com. ellaandthebossabit.com. And there's a list of all our shows, bio if you want to know more about us, photos if you like to see us. If you're just listening today and you don't see us, then you can see us. So
All right, let's play them out. Doom, 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 doom.
Boom, 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 boom,
Look at Leon's face. He's dialing through everyone's camera.
Yeah.
Ella's just like, oh, get me out of here.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you both.
Guys, that was
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh my god.
I
Look at
can't
the
wait.
end. Mine was just like drum lesson.
I know, right?
This, the bottom of the thing.
Gosh,